effective. Ninjiom herbal cough syrup. It's a traditional herbal remedy from China, used for centuries to give temporary relief to sore throats, congestion, and those annoying coughs. It's free from alcohol, doesn't make you drowsy, has no artificial flavours, and it tastes really good.
It is at 11 minutes past 5. Good morning. Ian, I have my watch has arrived from Jewel of Art. It is it weighs a ton. It's a Jewel of Art, you're quite right. And it's a diver's watch. Now, I worked out why it's so heavy. What's the point of having a light watch? You float on the surface, preferably face down. Now, I've just pressed the temperature here. Now, I've had it on my wrist for a while. It is a fabulous, it's a citizen watch. I think a good name. We call watches Citizen Watch, because they are for citizens. We think it's a good idea. Anyway, 25.7 degrees, but it has been on my wrist for a while, you see. And I worked out now, well, if it's showing the ambient temperature, the divers generally wear a little cute little outfit, don't they, which insulates them, so it would show the sea temperature. So 25.6, it's dropping. Look, I'm in trouble. It's 5:11. It's a wonderful. I've set the alarm. It's just, it does all sorts of things. Tomorrow morning, I shall give you a temperature readout of my shower. It's a diver's watch, and since divers means many, and Jewel of Art, it wouldn't be up yet, so I can talk about them, have diverse watches. They have diverse divers watches. Great ad, isn't it? A little sensor on the side there, so if I say anything rude, it just says rude things to me, a little sensor. Unless I got that wrong. It's just, I just like watches. It's really, really rugged. 5 degrees in Sydney, which is 4 below normal. That's quite curious. It didn't feel cool at all this morning as I was driving in. Try to set my watch and driving. It's interesting, isn't it? You hold button B for 2 seconds, and you hold button A and B, then you have to move the other one, then you have to do the digital, then the analog. It was really terrific. I got a small PhD this morning. Little person said, "You make watch work. We are planning you with a PhD from university. You're a very clever man. You like citizen watch? You like we call it citizen?" I said, "Yes, jolly good, my little Asian friend. Yeah, we call it citizen because it's for people like you. You very clever, Dr. Robertson." So I got my PhD this morning. I made it work. I must remember never to lose the book. Sydney is 5 degrees, 4 degrees below normal. Isn't Selka looking very, ever since her break, she's looking, I don't know, she's man or something. How sexist of me to suggest that would give comfort to a woman. But she's looking pretty, yes. I bit her on the neck for a while. Women know men, or they go, all right then. Well, of course you get into trouble, and you've got to get their trust first, then you pounce, you see. I think you should get your hair cut. You might have more chance. At the moment, they're not sure which sex you are. You see, it's a simple thing like that. There you are. Anyway, little Selka, I'm glad you're better than you were. Well, I mean, in terms of health. 5 degrees in Sydney, 4 below normal. Great cuddling weather. Now, what's happened to Bankstown, Kirsty? Have we found out why we haven't had it again? I mean, what's the problem there? Is the bloke... Well, no, but ask them why not. I mean, not available is no good for anyone. I mean, what, the bloke who normally does it's on holidays? Hasn't paid the rent? He's broken the thermometer? He's had a fight with his wife? So we haven't got the Bankstown temperature. There's some problem there somewhere, but that's okay. It is 29.5 minutes past 5 in the next half hour. And we might have to get to talk to someone in Scotland sometime, because I'll tell you about it, there's a stone being returned to Scotland from England after 700 years, you see. And I'm just intrigued, being partly Scot, just from the left leg and a bit of the right shoulder, partly Scot. From the biggest clan, the Donachie clan, the Robertson clan, there's no one quite like us. We might try to get someone sometime soon. By the way, a Swatch that I picked up from those people yesterday, Jewel of Art. There's a female version of this watch, by the way, that shows PMTs and when you're ovulating. And I said, "You're joking." They said, "No, really." And those difficult days, not the difficult first heavy days, although there is no model for that, but women don't need reminding of that. It's the difficult days for other people when they say, "Shut up." And I don't know, no, there's nothing wrong with me. You know, those a week to 10 days before. I said, "That's amazing. Are they selling well?" No. Think about it. If you're a man and you know what's happening, the chances are you're going to be extra nice, or you're going to say, "I know what's wrong with you." No, I'm only joking. There isn't a watch showing that, but my gosh, it'd be handy, wouldn't it? It really would be handy. Temperature. I'll just tell you the temperature in here, actually. Hold on. Here we are. Just press the button for 2 seconds. It senses. It says 24 degrees. Now, at this stage, it isn't the actual temperature here because I have one on my wrist for a while. Right. think I might get it upside down like nurses do, you know. They always have it on their little department there. They're resting on the department. And they can read things upside down. I don't know why they do. And our thanks to Mr. Hand and all who sailed on him for another wondrous program in Sydney town, where he spoke to people who are mentally underprivileged, those who are sick, those who are Catholic, those who don't believe. He gave them nurture, like a woman breastfeeding her many children. But now he must go, and I must return for another triumphant program, till Darren comes along and screws it up.
After you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying. You'll feel blue, you'll feel sad, you'll miss the bestest pal you've ever had. How about a little kiss, Cecilia? Just a kiss you'll never miss, Cecilia. Why you need to keep on wasting time? Please, Cecilia, say that you'll be mine. Hurry up, I'm growing older every day now. Give me a kiss now, keep Darren away.
Good morning. Welcome to 2GB on Thursday morning.
I forgot all about it for a month and a half. Hubba, 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 hubba. I looked in the drawer and started to laugh. Hubba, 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 hubba. 'Cause I'm a happy boy. Oh, I'm a happy boy. Oh, ain't it good when things are going your way? Hey, hey.
Yes, the drugs arrived last night. I went out the pan-tetting and I said, I'll take all that, thank you, for private use. Well, it is the 4th of July, but not here. Not here. Let's think about the Stone of Destiny. Britain's Prime Minister John Major, the one with very thick spectacles, the man who has very thick spectacles, says the historic Stone of Destiny is to be returned to Scotland exactly 700 years after its removal. True to their word, the bombs. Major says the stone, also known as the Stone of Scone, it's pronounced S-C-O-N-E, it's Scone. I imagine people in the Valley say, oh, Musselbrook, I live at Scone. Do you really? They'll be taken from Westminster Abbey and placed in an appropriate setting. The stone was taken from Scotland by King Edward I. We used to call him Eddie, baby. Eddie. Oh, it was Scottish there. Hey, Eddie, if you come here, I'll show you something to your disadvantage, lad. Didn't you touch that stone? You're dead meat. That's where the expression first came, dead meat. It was taken in 1296 and used in the coronation of British kings ever since. Major says the stone will be returned to Westminster Abbey to play its traditional role in the coronation ceremonies of future sovereigns of the United Kingdom. Yeah, right. They're going to have lots of those. He says it will remain the property of the Crown. Some Scots have noted that the lump of red-grey sandstone is very much like others found near Scone, written S-C-O-N-E, the ancient capital of the Picts, P-I-C-T-S, 55 kilometres north of Edinburgh. But romantic myths cling to it. Hey, me a Scot, I can see, we're terribly romantic. Hey, we are that. Hey, Miss Rosie, I cannot offer anything but money. Will you take me? I know I'm an old man and not terribly attractive, but I've got money. Will that attract you at all? I knew it would. The stone was said to have been used as a pillar by Jacob. Oh, golly, well, pixie land there. When he had his dreams of Jacob's ladder, a story told in the book of Genesis. Jacob's son supposedly carried the stone to Egypt. Yeah, right. There's a lot of that going around, isn't it? What have you got in your bag there? A stone? I'm afraid I'll have to tax you on that one. What's inside the stone? They carried it, and it was said to be taken to Spain, then to Ireland, where it was placed on the sacred hill at Tara. When Irish kings were seated on it at coronations, it was supposed to groan aloud. I always blame the stone or the dog. Excuse me, Your Majesty, was that you or the stone? It was the dog. Anyway, apparently it's supposed to groan aloud. Aye, in future, blame your seat, lad. If the claimant was royal and remained silent if he was a pretender. There's so many lines here, I'm not going to use any of them. Other traditions trace the stone to Dunstafnage, or Dunstafnage, or the island of Iona in Scotland. In 1950 it was stolen from Westminster Abbey by 4 young Scottish nationalists, but was returned to the Abbey in time for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth XI in 1953. The lady that I waved to in the mall at Lura in 1954, and she remembers me. Every year I get a card, don't I, Ian? Remember when you first worked with me, I said, I'll be getting a card from the Queen soon. You just looked at me in that sort of glazed look you have. And then I said, look at that. In fact, I let you open it. And you looked, she said, this is from the Queen to you. And she remembers Lura well, the Lura Mall. I said, you didn't believe me, and you were quite useless for a day. You gave me that useless look again. Useless look too. All right, then. Hello, Miss Blonde Person. How are you going? Why haven't we got Bankstown? What's the problem, the Bankstown Bridges? We did have.
We do.
We do. What happened? Why is it suddenly better?
I got off 2WS.
You got off 2WS. Does that mean it's right? You know they're obsessed with the West out there. Yes. Rob Gooder. The word is better. Would you tell them it's not gooder? You do better than so. You don't do gooder. Apart from that, you all right, eh?
Yes.
You ever been to a cathedral and listened to a church organ well played, classic music?
Been to a cathedral.
Yes, you have.
Organ.
That's right. Do you know the organist on this is the organist from the Wesley Mission? He does this during the week. He's in a group. But don't tell Moyes, because he says, yes, Father, no, Father, yes, Doctor, and all that. But he goes really rocky during the... Isn't he terrific? He's just brilliant. It's a pity this song's about a brothel, though, isn't it? It's just a bit of a downer, isn't it, really? Bless you, my... Oh, goodness, bless you. My gosh. Northern Territory police ministers resumed their meeting on proposed tough new gun laws. We've decided... tough implies somehow that it's unfair, doesn't it? Someone's tough on someone. Tough, there must be... No, just excuse me, I'll just check the temperature in the studio here. Won't be a second. I press button B for 2 seconds. Up it comes dash degrees centigrade, 23.4. We're getting close to ambient here. Apparently, if it stays above 24, we're all out. That's what the union has said. As the meeting of these gun people broke up, it's Western Australia, AOP, can I attract your attention? All right, if you call Northern Territory North Territory, I'll never say this again. If you just do it once, DG, just write North Territory for me, I'll never refer to it again. Okay. Western Australian Police Minister Bob Wiese, W-I-E-S-E, it'll be Wiese, so we might go to a family tree. So... said resolutions to make some allowances for collectors and those with family heirlooms were close. No, I don't see any. What's some family heirlooms? A gun is an heirloom? Yeah, this is the one Daddy used to hold up that awful bank. There also appeared to be widespread support for the crimping of semi-automatic weapons. I think they should crimp them in a vice that can crimp 5,000 pounds per square inch, so they're just a long, thin, flat thing. Then you wrap it around the person's head. A move that's been rejected by federal cabinet. Now, support also seems to be growing for the Queensland proposal to allow farmers limited access to banned Category D self-loading weapons. Of course, it's not a self-loading weapon, is it? You have to actually put... I mean, it is not a self... Let's come on. It's like an automatic camera. If an automatic camera, you'd see it walking down the street taking shots. They just sit in the box. To cull vermin and drought-stricken stock. You don't need self-loading weapons for that. I mean, are you lazy? Farmers, you've got a lot more time, you know. There's no crops. Oh, they should have spoken to me. The federal government is confident its new IT''S? IT''S, AP? IT''S? I'll read it the way it's meant to be read then. The federal government is confident it is new English language rules for some family reunion migrants won't discriminate against people from non-English speaking backgrounds. What's a non-English speaking background? Just a sec, I'll try one. Buongiorno. Yeah? That was a non-English speaking background, wasn't it? It worked. That was Italian. It said, good day. But he was in the background. It's going to be one of those days, Ian, I think. Could you ring my doctor? Some ethnic groups say awarding more points to English speakers applying under the family reunion agreement will discriminate against Asians. Yes, so? Who owns the country? Who are you? Yeah. Do we owe them something? We owe Japan a lot, but that's only a technicality. But Immigration Minister Philip Ruddock says the test is non-discriminatory and won't be reviewed. There you are. Shut your face. Mr. Ruddock yesterday announced migrant numbers will be cut by 10.8%. Why don't we just get smaller migrants? Like they're only, no one above 4 feet 5 inches, you see? That's cut the number. I mean, and just get them to live on top of each other. I think some of them do, looking at the number of people in China.
The immigrants come from the land of the ice and snow, from the midnight sun where the hot springs glow. Whoa. Stairway to heaven. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. The Lemon Song. Squeeze my liver till the juice runs down my leg. Jason sings Zeppelin. Hey, mama said the way you move. Out now. Gonna make you sweat. On Product Name. Gonna make you groove. Product Name. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow. Product Name. Don't be alarmed now. Product Name.
And that's the point. Whose life is it anyway? What right does John Howard or Kim Beazley or Tim Fisher have
Mr. Fisher.
to tell me, to tell you, if you can live or if you can die?
Darren Hinch
You're
from
right.
8:30 this
You're right,
morning.
Darren. Once again. You're right. Yeah. So next time someone says drop dead, you'd say, to quote Darren, you can't tell me what to do with my life. I say, good point. In about half an hour, I'll speak to someone called Martha Smilgas. She's from Time magazine. Goodness, I sound like Jim Whaley there for a moment. Time magazine. Went through a red light. Jim, you're a naughty newsreader. Anyway, you might remember, and we remember somewhat cynically, the fact that O.J. Simpson was at a Stop the Violence fundraising dinner. And the idea was if you didn't turn up, he'd come around and belt you up. No, only joking. And I imagine there'd be a few cynics there. Now, how much was it per ticket? Wasn't it something 10 grand or something, wasn't it? Up to 10,000 American dollars, or was it Australian dollars? Anyway, a lot of dollars. And she went there for, they did allow the media there, and as Karen Jakovich told us yesterday, who was not there, she said that apparently she knows this lady. The first question that I think when it came to questioning O.J., he said, I'm not guilty, which opened the door to the whole case. And I'm just intrigued to know how the whole thing was handled and whether people got their money's worth. So that'll be in about a 1:45, somewhere like that, 5:45. Now, there's also a gentleman in the town. He's of Italian descent because his name is, I assume, Franco Abagnale, A-B-A-G-N-A-L-E, but being American they call him Abagnale. This bloke cashed over $2.5 million in phony checks in every state and 26 countries over a 5-year period. Bit of a thug. But what happened was that the FBI, or the powers that be, decided that this man, this man's, he's got something here. This guy's pretty clever, you see. Once they caught him, the FBI recognized his value, and they offered him his freedom in return for his expertise in fighting fraud. I will ask him, of course, whether he felt that he should pay back the $2.5 million. And he's one of the world's leading authorities on check and card fraud. I wonder if occasionally, just to keep his hand in, he just writes the odd check. Honey, we need a new Cadillac. Okay, I'll get you a new Cadillac. Just keep quiet and keep those kids away from the remote. I'll talk to him after 8 o'clock this morning. How intriguing, eh? And apparently he's paid back every cent he stole. Well, that's good. You assume you have to be honest about the checks you'd... Wouldn't you feel a real idiot? A lot of these things are not actually disclosed by big companies, fraud, because it makes them look like idiots, which often they are. Like there are still people with password-less protection systems. I mean, a lot of the password for a lot of computers is password. And here's the trick. Here's the trick. If you buy a computer system from someone, they put a default password in. Often it's the default password. So anyone that's put the system in knows how to get into your system. You see, the point is, any security system is as strong as the loyalty of the people who work on it. So you get someone who's working out a marvellous new system to stop people infiltrating your computer. You've got to keep that person happy, because just as they make a system which will stop people getting in, they can work out a system to break the very system they've made, you see. That's the point. As I mentioned before, a few years ago when hacking was considered, rather clever, I didn't have to hack into people's computers. People would ring, let me know the password, the phone number, the whole thing. It didn't require hacking at all. You just dial that up and, oh, that's funny. Oh, how interesting. I got through to the morgue. Anyway, I'll talk to you. Item in the Telegraph. It is my understanding that if you ring 000, you speak to a Telstra person, and they put you through to, say, the police. And when you go through to the police, if not at the Telstra stage, your address comes up on the screen, right? If you have a mobile, I don't know how they get the address. Ha! Anyway, that's so they know who you are. That's already in. Anyway, it says 000 hoaxes will be traced. It's already on in Sydney, as far as I can see. Trevor D.L., written D-A-L-Z-I-E-L-L. It's pronounced D-L. I bet you it gets Dalziel all the time. It's D.L. Said the tracing system called Enhanced 000 was designed to deter hoaxes, you see, and cut the response time to the 6 million genuine emergencies handled annually. You see, this is to get rid of people who hoax. The new system, which does show, Mr. DL, the address of the caller on the operator's screen, is expected to be placed nationally by the end of the year. It's already running in Sydney. Mr. DL said unwanted calls range from misdials and hoaxes to lonely people wanting a chat. Oh, well, then if it's a misdial, then the chances are it's on the Telstra, the person who actually gets you originally, if you see my point. If you misdialed, you wouldn't therefore ask for an ambulance, would you? See the logic here? Robertson's brain, always working. The operator gets a lot of abuse, and an awful lot comes from kids, he said. Operators notice more of these calls in school holidays at around 3:30 from shopping centres. Mr. DL said other confusion arose because some callers did not know what was classified as an emergency call. Like if you hear Darren on the radio, should you ring 000? I do. He's on the radio. What am I going to do? They might call 000 if their phone bill is late, he said. More serious is the serial hoaxer. What's that? Someone who doesn't know what they have for breakfast. No, it's spelled differently. Who wastes valuable time and resources. Ambulance spokesman Wayne McKenna said while the system worked well to screen prank calls, it also helped life-saving minutes, you see. They can get there quickly. You see, if the person is in the middle of a heart attack and collapses, or if a child calls to say mum's sick, you can trace the call and find them. It could be the difference between life and death. Yes, it could. So that's already in. So, and indeed, is that not an option we've all got eventually? They said that we can see who's calling us. It'll make talkback interesting and say, oh, it's what's his name again, using the following nom de plumes. South Wales Corrective Services Minister Bob Davis has ordered a full investigation into the weekend escape of convicted drug trafficker George Savas from Goulburn Jail. It's always refreshing to know that there are investigations, aren't there? You know, if 14... at Sydney Airport, they say police are investigating, and we think, oh, that's nice. That's nice. Isn't it nice to hear that they're going to actually check on these planes or whatever? It's nice, isn't it? It's nice to know that someone takes an interest in it. Of course they're going to investigate it. A 19-year-old Melbourne basketball player died after being hit in the head by a hoop, which broke off when he made a slam dunk. I don't know what a slam dunk is. He said when you sort of almost grabbed the side. Oh, dear. They do put a lot of pressure on those hoops, don't they? I'm sorry about that. An autopsy is to be carried out today on a 22-year-old Australian soldier found severely injured outside his hotel. Well, he would be severely injured, wouldn't he, if he's having an autopsy? Don't you think that'd be a reasonable thing, AAP? I mean, you would have an autopsy on someone who's got a cold, would you? Excuse me, I've got a cold. Oh, I'll get an autopsy. Thanks very much. Thousands of air passengers have been stranded overnight after Mount Ruahu spewed ash again, closing Auckland International and 7 other North Island airports. Imagine being stuck in New Zealand, Ian. Not a happy sight. It's like a very big Bondi over there. No, I wouldn't like that. Oh, no. People poking their tongue out at you all the time. I'd say, don't be rude. Overseas. President Nelson Mandela plans to retire when his mandate expires in 1999. Well, he's about 160 in the shade. He spent 27 years in jail. That'd get to you, wouldn't it? I've got to say, I think my cut-off point's about 15. I think 27 would just be over the limit. You'd say, I'm getting fed up with being in jail. It says now time to find a younger person to be president. Well, I think that leaves the rest of the nation open to it, doesn't it? Mr. Mandela, who's elected president in the country's first multiracial elections, wants another veteran leader of the ANC and his deputy president, Thabo Mbeki, to take control. I think Mandela's about 98. He's in reasonable nick. I don't think he'll marry again, though, will he? Not after what's her name. Some strange court cases about her, weren't they? Very strange. Up to 6, Indonesian President Suharto has left Jakarta for Europe for medical attention today, leaving behind mounting speculation about his health. Yes, I think once again, in the land of being obvious, if he's going overseas for medical attention, that would leave some speculation about his size of his feet? No, his health. The government has not said which country Suharto will fly to, although reports say he is going to Frankfurt, Germany, that one, for treatment of heart and liver problems. The authorities' secrecy over the health and future plans, as different from ordinary plans? You can actually have plans which aren't for the future, like house plans, the bits you never got round to. They're not, but still a plan really means for the future of the 75-year-old president has led to some criticism from the opposition Indonesian Democracy Party. Why doesn't what's his name take over the job there? Why doesn't Mandela take over from Suharto? Perhaps it's time for Mr. Suharto to give way to an older man. Oh, mate.
Ah, g'day.
There you go.
I think God Save the Queen should be the national anthem again. Well, you're whistling Dixie. That's not going to happen. Boy, you've lived under a rock for 20 years, haven't you?
I'm only 23, so...
All right, 23 years. None of the things you're saying will ever happen again.
Darren Hitch from 8:30 this morning.
On you, Darren. On you, Darren. It's 15 to 6. This is TGB Monday morning. Hello. The Columbia, which is the spaceship, and its 7 astronauts have returned home from the longest flight in space shuttle history that we know of. Between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, they could have had space flights. If you look at, there's a big gap between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. Genesis 1, verse 1, Genesis 2. I know these things. Yeah. Anyway, the most recent longest flight in space shuttle, I think the Aborigines went out into space, but realised it was a waste of time. One day they'll be digging up and they'll find all these little spaceships and what have you, and they'll say, Robertson was right. Robertson is right. Anyway, this is the recent longest flight in space shuttle history after overcoming last-minute equipment problems in orbit. NASA's oldest shuttle glided through. They do glide, by the way. There's no chance for a runaround. If you don't land, you're up the creek without any means of propulsion. It's amazing a thing that size can glide so well. No power. Little wheels come out, and there you are. Okay, we have. They'll go. We have landing here, and they'll get applauded, won't they? Anyway, it glided through an overcast sky to land at the Kennedy Space Center last night. Isn't it amazing that it can go through and land on the Earth? I find it quite amazing. What if it missed? Hello there. We're seen to be heading towards the moon again. Any contingencies here? Not as such. The medical research mission lasted 16 days and nearly 22 hours, 7 hours longer than the previous shuttle record, which was set only last year by the Endeavour. You know, this stupid Pamplona bull run? I mean, it really is pathetic, isn't it, what people will do? A 25-year-old South African, Robert Thirlwell, has undergone surgery after being badly gored in the groin during the first bull run at Pamplona's festival. There's no immediate word on his condition. His brain is not extant, my boy. 3 other runners were less seriously hurt. Hundreds of runners sped through the narrow streets of Pamplona, flanked by 5 fighting bulls on an 825-metre dash, saying like God believes in, aren't I? From the Animals Corral to the City Arena today. The Queen and the Archbishop of Canterbury reportedly agreed that the divorced Prince of Wales and the Duke of York should avoid live-in love affairs with new partners. I don't think they should. Of course the Archbishop of Canterbury should be emphatically no, and so should the Queen. Isn't she the head of the church? Between them, they're the head of the church. They should say no. They can't have fun. Philip and I aren't having fun. Why the hell should they have fun? Should they, Archbishop? Golly, you look good in that purple outfit. You like to pop round for a late cuppa. And all that sort of jazz. A blonde female streaker ran across centre court just moments before the start of the men's final. I like that sort of thing. She wore a G-string, apparently. I don't know why. I mean, okay, gorgeous women are gorgeous. Well, that certainly added something to the dreary tennis. God, it's dreary, isn't it? It's just the same. I mean, you have a videotape of a tennis match. It's always the same. It's like cricket. You can't tell where you are, what's happening. Love one. I mean, how boring. Boring as rat's poo. Yeah, what else? Guess what arrived today? Our Encyclopedia Britannica on CD-ROM. Ooh, spiffy. I could look up Sooth now, you see. S-O-O-T, return, and would come up with it. Spiffy, eh? Pretty good. And that with my beta. I've only got a beta version of the Oxford Complete Dictionary. Neither, by the way, competes with the books. I think there's something magical about the Encyclopedia Britannica books, and also have you seen the Complete Oxford Dictionary? It's about from here to the wall. I have one at home. It's the whole thing. It's just, and of course, like any book, you can't put it down. You start to read and you say, oh, look at this, and you find rude words. Oh, and all that. It's just good reading. It really is. What about the suggestion that video phones will be here by the year 2000? Why do I keep saying the year 2000? By 2000? Oh yeah. I mean, do you want to see that? I don't think so. There'll be a lot of rude stuff, won't there? Blokes ringing blokes. Oh, look at that. Oh, mate, someone could be watching. Oh, mate. Oh, come on, mate. Oh, gee, your poor wife. And all that. That'll happen, won't it? And then someone will be watching, of course. It's 8 to 6. Yeah, we haven't done Feng Shui recently. Feng Shui. I should tell you, it's not pronounced that way, and I don't care. Feng Shui is an item that appears in the Woman's Day, and it's done by Selena Summers, who's an Anglophile, and she's dressed up to look like an Asian, which is so silly because there are so many real Asians in Australia they could have used. She's dressed up with a little kimono and a fan. She hasn't had her eyes done. Anyway, Selena, you can't all the time, can you? Here's a couple of things. This shows you how simple people are. I mean, simple as not a great deal happening in the head, you see. A question comes from hard worker in Western Australia. This is for Feng Shui. Around our corner shop is a veranda with many square posts, including one just in front of the door. I mirrored these. He's put mirrors on them, but vandals stole the mirrors. We blame Mark Jensen for that, probably. You've been to Western Australia recently, you have, haven't you? How else can I improve my business and keep my head above water? Isn't this sad? What's the post out the front got to do with it? And Serena Summer says, another celestial cure to improve the Feng Shui of square posts or columns is to grow vines or flowers up them. Yeah. If vandals remain a problem, consider flower tubs chained to the post and remove after hours. What, remove the post? Not happy. Veranda fall down on customer. Have to pay lots of money. Not happy man. Not good idea. To stimulate business, why don't you run naked through the shop? No, it says Feng Shui says you need to stir up the key life energy at the front of your shop. Do this with lights or wind chimes. I think the key word is wind here, isn't it? Another one here. I have a chance to set up my first business as a dressmaker in a workroom. I was at a busy undertaker. Nothing like a busy undertaker, is it? I wonder if they have a stiff drink after each burial. I know this is bad Feng Shui. Can I use a remedy to fix things, or should I look elsewhere? This comes from CW of North Adelaide. Look elsewhere, or start your business from home. The unsettling key life energy from the distressed people attending the funeral parlour will flow into your quarters, creating upsets. Yeah, right.
Just a chance to say,
have a happy day.
have a happy
Have a happy day. Have a happy day. Have a happy day. Oh, hello.
have a happy day.
It's 23 to 6. I was just reflecting that in 1967 I found a 5-leaf clover. And no one was interested. They said, oh, mate, 4's worth more. I said, if 4's good and 3 is the norm, wouldn't 5 be better? Oh, mate, beats me, mate. Because I didn't know Graham and Santa Ross at that stage. 22.5 to 6. People magazine has got a review of the film with Demi Moore. She's looking a bit bloke-like, isn't she? She plays a part in Striptease. And this is a commentary here, which I rather like, that she wanders around, you know, just with her G-string on, a bit like the lady at the whatchamacallit, With the, no, she wore an apron, not a G-string. Someone said it was a G-string, and she showed everything, didn't she? Everything, yes. You could see everything, could you? Well, there's no G-string. I can see the picture here. I've looked at it for a while. It says about Demi Moore, she dances a lot. Every time she does, the movie goes dead. Frankly, it's a little embarrassing watching Moore flash everything except her privates. Has any male movie star ever exposed so much of himself for so long in a film not intended for cineasts? What's a C-I-N-E-A-S-T-S? This is an American term, is it? People in raincoats? I don't think so, and if anyone has, I'm sure I don't want to see it. Yeah, she's not a great construction, I'm afraid. Very, very muscular and what have you. And essentially Moore is the straight woman. Everyone around her is having and serving up the real fun. What keeps the movie bobbing cheerily along are the throwaway lines and asides. A stripper introduced the snake in her act as Monty Python. The strip club's slimy owner complaining that the business has lost its humanity. And someone boasts that Meryl Streep worked the club years ago, billing herself as Chesty La France, and Moore refusing to wrestle in creamed corn with the pronouncement, "There's no way I'm going to roll around naked with a bunch of drunk morons trying to stick niblets." Oh, I'm not going to finish that line. Didn't see that coming, folks. Anyway, that's a review of that. Independence Day, there's a review of that as well on People magazine. Day one, the movie finally arrives. It has loomed over the American landscape for months, sending out media signals that scramble citizens' thoughts. One can scarcely recall the names of all the lesser summer blockbusters. Day two, now at last we know the worst. It's the War of the Worlds with a Poseidon adventure sensibility, a big mechanical enterprise with a dried pea of a brain rattling around in the hull. Quaint term, isn't it? The dried pea of a brain rattling around the hull. Vast alien spaceships slowly creep into position, then explode the world's cities into flames. A core group of survivors, including the president, who's Pullman, who actually has a daughter nicknamed Munchkin, a marine pilot, Smith, that's Will Smith, a computer expert, Jeff Goldblum, and his funny, crinkly, crotchety old Jewish papa, Judd Hirsch. What do you mean? What do you mean, crinkety, crotchety? What are you talking about? Brought together and pitted against the enemy by a script that is 9/10 padding and 10% filler. The dialogue is cavernously broad and empty. "A lot of people died today," says Pullman, sulking aboard Air Force One. "Many of them didn't have to." The special effects aren't bad, but they don't compare to those in Twister. In a colossal aerial battle between American and aliens, hundreds of tiny fighter planes litter the air like confetti tossed from a stadium bleacher. The aliens have wide hammerhead skills and small oval face that suggest wolverines. So there you are. Is that good or bad? Well, they're going, aren't they? As our lady from L.A., Karen Jacobich, said, they're going in the Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise and John Voight. The concept is slightly excitingly slick. Take the classic 60s and 70s television series about a team of intelligence operatives and pare it down into a star vehicle with Tom Cruise alternately giving chase and being chased in a topsy-turvy world of double agents, computer technology, and explosives packaged as sticks of gum. And why not? The series doesn't deserve much reverence. It had Lalo Schifrin's unforgettable theme, reprised and Dolby-ized here. Reprised. Have we got it here, have we? Have we really? Oh. I'll find it in a moment, yes. But otherwise, seems like the Walter Mitty fantasy of a mid-level government bureaucrat. Cruise's usual works gruelingly hard, and not for 1 second are you allowed to forget it. Oh, what does that mean? The trademark devices, boy's smile, piercing gaze, shrill bursts of anger, are whipped out with an eager, exaggerated snap. The performance feels like boot camp. By contrast, Vanessa Redgrave, laughingly vamping her way through a tiny but crucial role as a spy of a certain age, infuses the movie with glamour and high comedy. She's Mata Hari as a career woman. There you are. Little review there. We never get to see films here because you have to be in bed by 4. But we'd like to know how the other half lives.
So I bet you got that role.
Actually, I went in on Melrose Place to play Heather's mother. And that's when they decided that if it worked well, they wanted me to continue on and spin off another series called Models Inc., which we did.
His daughter wouldn't have a job if her name wasn't Spelling, would she?
Good question, but I don't know the answer to that.
That's true, isn't it? I mean, she wouldn't get a hit on television in a fit if she last name wasn't Spelling.
I don't know.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Yes, this is a hot seat. I'm sure this is what I mean.
Oh, right.
I mean, that's why I enjoy coming back, because you're so gracious and generous and hospitable.
Well, now tell me the real story about Mr. Spelling's daughter.
Let's get back to that. I'm going to ask you some questions about her. I think you have a crush on her.
Not likely. Enjoy the rest of your stay. It's nice to talk to you.
It's great talking to you.
Bye-bye. Linda Gray.
Well, we were both wrong. I missed the first one. There were three, weren't there? There were three. We were close. Perhaps she's getting better. Perhaps Darren's getting better. That was Darren with Linda Gray. She's a lovely voice, isn't it? Not much of an accent. Most Americans hide the air, and this is this. I thought she was quite gracious. I'm surprised Darren didn't mention. He said to me he's going to mention the Spelling's daughter, who actually got the job, or something. He didn't mention it, which is a bit of a shame. It's 18 minutes past 5. There you are, and you can hear Darren live. Well, actually, he's not live. He's on 7 seconds delay. I think we're working on a minute's delay with Darren, aren't we? It's, mate, should we dump this on a... yeah, hit the button. Darren from about 8:30 this morning. He's a funny lad. It's 19 past 5. I don't think he'll ever be a man. I think he's always a little boy, and I don't mean in a derogatory fashion. There's a certain sort of wide-eyed innocence. You know, one day he's going to come and say, I've invented the wheel, that sort of thing. You say, yes, you have, that's good. Yes, it's round, and I'm going to sell lots of them. Yes, of course you are. Now, yesterday, I've got to tell you, the Encyclopedia Britannica CD-ROM turned up. Now, if you're on the internet, it's exactly the same as the internet. It uses Netscape as its front end. And it's like the source is the disk. You see what I mean? You don't have to be online. I've got to say, it is fabulous. In fact, I'm considering actually bringing it to the studio here because you can ask it a question. So I asked, what is pi, as in P-I, right? Because I know there's a lot of people spend a lot of time on computers trying to work out what pi is. It's 22/7, isn't it? Anyway, so I typed in what is pi, hit the return and timed it. And I hit, what is pi? Click, right? 1, 2, 3, boom. There it was. Now, nothing against the Encyclopedia Britannica, the books, but you in this business you don't always have the time. Anyway, it's a book which won't fit on this console because this console that's in front of me was designed for a midget that used to work here. You know, his arms are about that long, and it's just a shame that a normal person wasn't used as the basis. Anyway, what is pi? And there it came up on the screen, just like you would on the internet, but with a connection which took, 3 seconds. And I discovered that some lunatic person has decided to work out what pi is, and he's got up to 100 million decimal points. I mean, why did it stop then? Did the machine say, oh, fair crack of it, mate? The union's going to get onto you. I need a rest after every 100 million decimal places. I think what they're trying to establish is will it round out to an even number? Is that my understanding or not? I didn't read the whole article. It was only a page, crammed with all sorts of symbols and things, and I thought, this is spiffy. And then I typed in Nellie Bly. Nellie Bly was I forgot what she was the pseudonym for. And 2 seconds for that, boom, it came up. Pseudonym of so-and-so. And she did a Phineas Fogg at last century and went around the world, I think, in less than 80 days. But I would recommend it. I think it's very impressive. I just think it's very well done. And not stacks of pictures. And the big problem with CD-ROMs now is they have all these videos and what have you. I mean, come on, it takes up so much space. What we want is just facts here, don't we, Ian? And that sort of stuff. Unless it's that rude lady who streaked at the so-and-so. Then we can have a full-frame half-hour video of that, but that's just because we're dirty, because men are disgusting. Why do men go on and on about what is it about men? I don't know. I've asked a few men, they say, what do you mean? And women say, just be nice. So let's be nice this morning. Anyway, so we'll be using I've got to bring it into work here. It's a bit of a struggle to bring it into work, you know. I've got to actually lift it up and put it in the bag. It's a real struggle to bring it back to work, but I'll manage it this week. So that will be our reference. Now, I also have a beta version of the beta means, I don't know why it's called beta. What's an alpha version? Alpha, beta, what's the third one? No. Oh, alpha, beta, gamma. Yes, they don't have C, A, B, C, do they? Yeah, that's right. What's a gamma version? I have a version of that of the complete Oxford Dictionary. It's a bit funny. Can't find the drive. It says, can't find drive F. I said, well, why don't you look then? Oh, okay then. Thanks. I think it's a British person who's into local theatre who designed it. But we shall get that as well in here. So we're so knowledgeable here, we'll be frightened ourselves. We'll be too afraid to come in. National Court of... This is very interesting, this. I find this most intriguing. As I read this morning, I thought to myself, this is intriguing. The International Court of Justice has supported Australia's call for nuclear weapons to be declared illegal. But it says it can't decide whether to include self-defense in the ruling. I love the way we have rules in war. I find it just really amazing. The court voted by 7 votes to 7. It seems to me, how can you win with 7 votes to 7? With a casting vote by President Mohammed Bedjoui, B-E-D-J-A-O-U-I. Kirsty, would you have a look on the ARP's pronunciation to find the correct pronunciation for that? I think it came through this morning. Would you do that? She's good, you know. She's going on holidays next week, going to the snow. That the threat of the use of nuclear weapons could generally be contrary to the rules of international law. What if you threaten to use nuclear weapons? You've gone too far this time, Mr. Whoever, Mr. Boss. Former Foreign Minister Gareth Evans had asked the court last year to find nuclear weapons illegal. And current Foreign Minister Alexander Downer says the decision of the International Court of Justice will be studied carefully through large binoculars. Isn't that interesting? They can't decide whether to include self-defense in the ruling as regards the use of nuclear weapons. Why else would you have the nuclear weapons? 6. Freezing temperatures in South... you can't have freezing temperatures. Because freezing is a temperature. You can't have freezing temperatures. It's either... See, temperatures are absolute. 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 is freezing. You can't have freezing temperatures. It's not an area. It's an actual temperature. You see? No, well, of course, but... Oh, no, it isn't. Not related to water at all. No, it isn't. No, it's a... No, you're right. No. A temperature is a temperature. See, freezing... the book's here, actually. I'll have a look. I'll have to bring that CD-ROM in tomorrow. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. You know you're wrong, Ian. I mean, why do you go on about it? You know you're wrong. If you keep this up, you'll have to work with Ida again. Freezing. Don't cry. Freezing. Right? Freezing. Freeze. Freezing mixture. Don't like that. I might disagree with what I said here. A freezing mixture is actually a mixture of 2 or more substances, especially salt and ice, which produce a temperature below 0. But that's freezing mixture, not freeze. To become... No, I don't like that book. I've never really liked that book. I just don't like it. I've just gone off it. You know how it is? You sort of say to yourself, I don't like that book. There you go. Let's face it, it was fairly cold, whatever it was I was referring to. New theme from Twister. I've heard it before somewhere. I said, you sure that's true? Yeah, mate. Yeah. Doing well, you know. What another wonderful day. Yesterday was just terrific. Unless your name is Alan Bond, of course, in which case no day is too terrific anymore. Alan Bond was barred yesterday from going out in public to restaurants, shopping centres and the movies. Which means unless it comes out on videotape, he won't see this film, will he? He'll only be allowed to take walks along the beach with his wife, Diana Bliss, and go to church on Sundays. Good thing he's not Jewish, because they have to go on Saturday. strange thing. Poor Mr. Bond. What if he's to suddenly drive along, go to a public loo? He could be arrested. Alan Bond arrested near public loo. Doesn't look good, does it? It's 8 minutes past 6. We can't go on having fun like this, otherwise the rest of the station will start doing it. The Olympics are on now. Most Australian athletes are there. Have we given them return tickets, have we? Been a good time to actually say they can't come back to Australia. Yeah. Am I in love with the Olympics? Not as such. Have you gleaned that, have you? Have you? How astute, how astute. And don't be rude to me. A little item left here by Krusty for me. Ian, would you like me to read this? Are you sure? Right, remember, Ian wanted me to read this. I didn't want to do it. It's called Urine News. Health for All is a little magazine called Health for All. It's a free letter, I can understand why. Health for All is a wish of all of us, but can we afford it? Yes, everyone in the world can afford the most complex medicines, urine. Urine therapy is free. Dr. G. Williams, who I don't know who he is quoted as saying, just how well does urine therapy work? Honestly, it probably works too well. It works so well that you'll probably start seeing a lot of negative stories about it in the next couple of years. Oh, that's clever, isn't it? Yes. You'll not find a more customized medicine and universal cure than your own wee-wees. I don't like you. Wee-wees is better. Your wee-wees contains not only minerals, amino acids, enzymes, hormones and so on, but also antidotes specific and essential to you at that moment. What I want to know is, why does the body get rid of it then? Is the body dumb? Hey, you got... Oh, they've gone. Oh, hell. I wanted them. If you had to buy the 2,500 plus ingredients present in wee-wees, most people would not be able to pay for it. So don't flush it down the toilet. Yeah, great. You got me in, fella. The new book, and I won't mention the name, by a best-selling author, I don't know his name, tells you all about the oldest medicine. Make your own homeopathic wee-wee or drink the golden juice as it is. You'll discover more than you can imagine. Yes, you will. You start to throw up. Hey, I needed that. Oh, yeah, come on, you people, pull the other one. Oh, disgusting. I won't quote what Mr. Whitlam was supposed to have said many years ago. It's a great line, though. And it's 24.5 minutes past 6. Now, Ian told me to do that, right? I didn't want to do it. He made me do it. I didn't want to do it. So if you have any complaints, ring Ian on 269-0646. Thank you. We're waiting for your call now.
So remember the tip. When ordering coffee, always ask for the coffee with 2 T's. And if they ask you...
It's 1 coffee, 2 teas, dear.
Leave. They obviously don't have Victoria coffee. The coffee with 2 T's. The coffee that's worth drinking. The coffee that's worth living for.
This is pretty weird. It's an item in the Australian. Police investigating the disappearance of 2 Perth women might have jeopardised community goodwill by using a questionnaire that asks respondents if they're guilty of murder. The questions contained in the... they use the word bizarre a lot. B-I-Z-A-R-R-E. Questions included, did you abduct or murder Sarah Spears? Did we, no. If you were going to conduct the investigation, how would you do it? Should we believe your answers to the questions? No, because I did it, but I'm covering up. Are you George Savas? They could have asked, couldn't they? While filling out this form, what were your emotions? How very strange. Anyway, it's sort of jeopardized. I'd love to get a copy of that. Isn't that wonderful? That's just so naive, isn't it? Did you kill the people? Sarge, what do we put? Did you kill the... Yeah, go on here, mate. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautifully naive, isn't it? We somehow think that there's a system in place that they don't do things like that, but every now and then there's someone showing a bit of flair, I think's the word, a bit of flair. You'll go all the way from sergeant to corporal, won't you? What about this person? I'm going to say this person's a loony. We don't know who the person is, but if you saw a cake outside this building here, would you bring it in and give it to your staff? Only if it was your last day, and in fact it would be your last day. This is quite strange. There are strange people around, if this is true, of course. I'm only going by what's in the paper. It's written by a journalist, remember, and sometimes they get it wrong, don't they? They get a bit confused after a night out at Chalmers Street. Marijuana has been confirmed as an ingredient in a chocolate cake which caused 12 Ford factory workers to collapse and vomit last week. That'd be a pretty sight, wouldn't it? There's 12 of them. Those overalls are really unserviceable now. You blokes should look after yourself. While the baker of the cake remains a mystery, cannabis traces were yesterday confirmed by health department tests. Victorian detectives yesterday interviewed a male worker at the Broadmeadows Assembly plant. They said he was the person who distributed the cake, but only after he found it in the factory's car park. Just sitting there, it was. Had seen this bloke turn up for work in the morning and saw the cake as he was getting out of his car. It was just sitting near a tree. How can you tell if a cake's sitting, by the way? I mean, do they have legs? I'm sorry, the cake's lying down. You said it was sitting. I'm sorry. Anyway, said Detective Sergeant George File. He then went out and added it out, which seemed to have made everyone a bit sick. He does feel a bit responsible for what happened. Yeah, I think that would be substantially right, yeah. Why did you give it to your lads? Oh, I don't know. It was just sitting there. How do you know it was sitting? Oh, don't start all that. So there you are. I mean, how dumb is that? He just found the cake as he got out of his car. I thought, oh, my fellow workers might like some cake. I'll take it into them. There is a sequence to Dumb and Dumber, isn't there? Sequel. He says a 1 minute button. How do you know 1 minute is appropriate for everything? Yeah, I had something explode in the microwave the other day. I mean, the cat had been out in the rain, right? And I thought, oh, I'll warm the thing. Oh, yes, all right. I'm not going to start that. Someone will come and say, I think he's gone too far. 19.5 to 7. Andrew Moore.
Hello, Clive Robertson.
How you going?
I'm all right. I've blown up lasagna in the microwave before.
Have you?
Well, watching MASH, actually.
It'll do it every time, won't it?
I don't know what it is, but it happens.
Actually, it's very interesting with eggs. You know, you can do eggs in them, but you've got to actually prick the yolk. Mm-hmm. But they don't have to prick it 4,000 times and suddenly bang,
Once
bang.
isn't enough, huh?
Actually, I think I do it too long, really.
I've never done eggs in the microwave. I prefer to fry my eggs.
I'll fry them, really. That's healthy. It's dead easy to do them in the microwave. You get circular devices, which you put them into, right? Mm-hmm. You prick the little yolk there. Don't do it for the length of time. I think it's only for about a minute or so. You probably have about 10 eggs per breakfast, would you? Well, you have to remember that takes more heat. And then they mustn't explode, you see. Otherwise, scraping them off the inside of the microwave, you get the taste of meals you've had for weeks. It has a certain sort of Mother Special taste about it.
That's when you wake your wife up, if that happens.
Yeah, it'd be a problem for me to wake my wife up. Anyway, how's sport?
Well, last night at the Sydney Football Stadium was the opening Monday night game of the year, and it was a tremendous success. Tremendous success.
Who went? How many?
35,000.
35,000 bored people.
Well, it was one of the best games of rugby league I've ever seen.
Really? This is quite a surprise. How did the ratings go on Channel 9? They covered it in full?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a great crowd.
It must make it right up the nose of the Super League people.
Well, the game kicked off at 7:30. At about 7:20, there were only 14,000 people there, and all of a sudden, in the space of 10 or 12 minutes, 20,000 people.
When did it start?
7:30.
Yeah. Oh. And how much does it cost to get into a game like that now?
Well, they gave away a lot of free tickets, but normally it costs about $20 to $25 to have a good.
Joking. He said with alcohol and drugs, is that a chick?
That's just for the seat.
Oh, really? Goodness.
Well, I've got to say, that was value for money last night. Terrific game of football.
Where was it played?
At the Sydney Football Stadium.
Now, what about the locals? Do they complain about the noise?
Oh, they're very boring, those people, but no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
they are boring.
If Andrew Moore lived there, of course, that'd be quite different, mate. I've spoken to the council, but because it's other people, they're boring. Yeah, right.
It is very boring.
They got no right to sleep then, have they? People double parking on their lawn?
The game finished at 9:10.
That's late for me. Anyway, so it went well, did it?
It went
sensational. Who was commentating with you? Was it Jack? Was Jack there? Oh, was he in his T-shirt and trousers?
T-shirt and tracksuit pants.
Yeah, he looks very spiffy nowadays. I mean, he looks terrific.
He did an outstanding job, actually, the first time he's done that sort of role, and was brilliant. Actually predicted with 4 minutes to go that the Roosters would score
with 4 minutes to go. Oh, yeah, that's very clever. Not with 40 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go. Mate, one of them's going to win.
No,
very good, Tommy.
He predicted that the Roosters, a bit of individual brilliance, would see them score a try, and a second later it happened.
Did he use that actual expression, did he? He said that, did he? Tommy Rodonicus said that. Yeah, right. There must be two Tommy Rodonicuses.
No, we had the one and only working with us.
Now, did Melissa Johnson show everything?
Is this the stripper at Wimbledon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a photo in the late edition of the Telegraph yesterday, and she had an apron on, but there wasn't much.
An apron over the top department, was it?
Yes, but not over the bottom department.
I see. You mean literally the bottom department?
Literally.
I see. Well, it pleased the Royal Box, apparently. They all thought it was a great... they jumped up and down, so that was totally good.
Well, she looked rather attractive, actually.
Yes, that's important. We don't mind if they're attractive, do we?
Hey.
And they're female?
No, sir.
Yeah, right, okay. Is that it? Can I go now?
You can go and I'll go.
All right. 12 and a half to 7 now. Oh, you're trying to miss out on your question. Well, we'll do that in the next hour. We have a spiffy question for Andrew. He won't get it.
Spiffy question?
Yeah, spiffy.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how you feel about the public service. Now, don't be like that. Now, come on. The job tenure in the federal public service faces a major shake-up with the head of the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet, Mr. Max Moore-Wilton, backing calls for a contract-based employment system in the bureaucracy. This means that you don't stay there for life. This is actually good news. It means you're accountable, and if you're no good, they might not renew the contract. It's a bit like the real world, isn't it? I'm not too impressed with the concept that they can somehow just have this carte blanche. I might bring up the getting sick before they take their retirement. You know, that way they have 6 months off sick. We can't afford that luxury because these people tell fibs. I've seen them. Are you all right? Oh, yeah, I'm okay. Why are you off sick? Oh, mate, accrued sick leave. Oh, I thought that was only if you're sick. Mate, everyone does it. That's a great title for a book, isn't it?
Listening to Los Angeles. And the radio man says it is a beautiful night out there. And the radio man says rock and roll lives. And the radio man says it is a beautiful night out there in Los Angeles. You live in Los Angeles, and you are going to Reseda. We are all in some way or another going to Reseda someday to die. And the radio man
What ails this man? What is wrong with this man? Get off. You're on the wrong station, you fool.
Gone savage for teenagers with automatic...
Goodness, it's Darren's life story.
Gone savage for teenagers who are aesthetically...
That's right! I'm named everyone! You bastards! Get off!
Los Angeles beckons the teenagers...
All right, enough of that. So what have we got here? We've got Darren Hinch with Professor John Postlethwaite from the University of Oregon. That'd be a pretty hard university, wouldn't it? Talking about the humble zebrafish. You mean, how can you tell if a fish is humble? What's it do to you? Excuse me, sir. I wonder if I might have a bit of food, sir. Not time for food? I quite understand, sir. That it may hold the key to birth defects and cancer in humans. What? This is good news? I would have thought it'd be good if you could actually be against this. This fish holds the key to birth defects. Oh, bring it in then. I've got a normal child. There's something a bit literal here. These are bits that were on air yesterday while I was out in the country trying to suppress Selka. She's just a couple of drinks. I'm beginning to feel sorry for Krusty now. You got competition, Kirsty. You really have. I suppose you belt her up later, will you? That's what you do. Of course you do. Now, we have a choice also. There's been a lot of talk lately about how thin we should be, and are those catwalk models just too thin? Now comes the news that male models are adopting the skinny look. Who cares about male? They're all woolly wolfters, aren't they? Ian? Do you want to be a male model? Of course you don't. Ida Butters talks with Sharon George, who's the editor of Australian Women's Forum. Oh, yeah, that'd be the definitive. They have pictures of men's things. And there's one there, I think he was teaching it to swim one day. It was really women that fell about laughing. Come on now. Come on, you won't drown. Oh, I don't like it here. Ooh. Come on now. Ooh, any sharks about? Any piranhas? Yes, teaching it to swim. And then we have Mark Day talks with South Australian Education Minister Rob Lucar and asks the question, would you like your kids being schooled by a male teacher wearing a dress? Oh, I don't know. I think what they do on the weekends, if they can do that during the week, that seems okay. Recently in South Australia, a teacher has undergone a sex change and is still teaching the same class. He's now called Nicole.
2GB Samsung Big League with Greg Hollywood Hartley, Andrew Moore, Roy Masters, Jack Gibson and Tony Peters. Thanks to Lucky Lotteries, Gary's Auto Electrical, Global Self-Storage and Miranda Landscape Supplies. Samsung Big League on 873 2GB.
22 minutes past 5. Our commentators almost throw up, don't they? You know, it's so basic, our commentators. You just expect it, and you imagine these people have no understanding of personal hygiene. They want to go to the toilet, they do it then and there while they're doing the actual commentary. I think, in fact, they have no choice. They get that excited. Isn't that good? That's really good. Television broadcasters and manufacturers have attacked a federal cabinet decision to require all new television sets to have a V-chip to enable parents to censor violent programs. What the hell is wrong with parents anyway? I mean, do they want someone else to take responsibility for their dreary progeny? Why have the television on at all? I mean, think about it. Ian, you and I would have much better growing up without television, right? Except the odd documentaries, okay? On a documentary on how the V-chip works would be an interesting one for us to watch. We'd say, Daddy, why can't we watch that? It's blocked itself out. Oh, Dad. Oh, Dad. It's taken over the house. I can't get to the fridge. It won't flush the loo. The V-chip. The world is a fascinating place. The thing is so transparent. To enable parents to censor violent programs, it is so transparent. Turn the bloody thing off. Talk to your kids. Oh, no, this is a real cop-out, isn't it? Parents think, you know, oh, I have to talk to my kids. Oh, I'm a bit tired. Oh, well, you had the kids. Oh, yeah, it was only 10 seconds of pleasure. Well, for him, for her, she thought, oh, dear, the ceiling needs repainting. The Federation of Australian Commercial Television Stations says the cost of installing a V-chip will be much higher than cabinets estimate. Who cares? Who gives a stuff? Well, who cares? This is just... you want someone else to look after your kids? Who cares? Hello, Kirsty. You're looking very nice this morning. You found a new man yet? I saw one on the street down there. And a major manufacturer of television says, AWA, says there's been no consultation with the industry. There you are. They've spoken to us, mate. Yeah, whoever they are. Haven't heard a word. And what about the new boss of the ABC? I think he's the bloke I sent up once. Remember, I asked him, his name is Donald McDonald. If your surname was McDonald, would you immediately think, oh, let's call our son Donald? Donald McDonald. Yes, of course you wouldn't. And I asked him about that, and he went all sort of, I don't want to discuss that. I said, but wouldn't your parents have had a greater imagination? Anyway, he's boss of the ABC. And may God have mercy on his soul. On the subject of furball...
Now, the migration issue is more important in Sydney because nearly half of all migrants to this country arrive here. Mr. Ruddock has this idea of getting would-be migrants to pay a $30,000 bond. It is a Lulu dreamed up by some pen pusher in Canberra, and it
bond.
will not work.
Darren Hitch from 8:30 this morning.
We're talking Sydney, talking to GB.
21 to 6, and you can hear Darren Hinch in person from 8:30 this morning. Just when you thought it was going to be a good day, along comes Darren and says, you know, it'll rain again. It'll rain. It'll get hot later. And you think, oh, yes, I hadn't thought of that. Now, the federal opposition says incoming ABC chairman Donald McDonald, the world-famous magical clown... I mean, can you believe anyone with the surname McDonald? I think this is possibly what happens, right? This is an artist's impression. They're at there signing at the hospital or something, whatever you do to christen the thing. They say, what's your name? McDonald. So he writes down that, actually the bloke's perhaps he's had a long night shift, right? Writes down Donald. What was the surname? Or perhaps it's a change of staff. He's written down Donald in the wrong spot. The next bloke comes along, and a lot of male nurses do lisp a bit into local theatre. Said, I'm sorry, dear, change of shift. A nice child, yes, bit yellow, that'll clear up. Yes, take lots of liquids, yes. Anyway, now, surname McDonald. He writes it underneath where they've written Donald, you see. It's just a confusion. And they got home, they said, look at this. So what is that, McDonald, my lover? Look at this. Look, it's got Donald McDonald. Oh. Can we change? No, I don't know. It says Donald McDonald. The kid's called Donald. Oh, that's silly, isn't it? I wonder what his middle name is. Donald. Yeah, Donald. Anyway, Mr. McDonald, I just think it's rather a shame that you called Donald McDonald. I had an uncle called Robert Robertson. I can't believe it. Anyway, he faces tough times ahead in defending the organisation against politically motivated funding cuts. Now, the opposition says this, not I. Opposition communications spokesman Chris Schott says that Mr. McDonald will have to protect the ABC from Prime Minister John Howard and Treasurer Peter Costello's political attacks. Now, I don't want to just be politicking here, are you, Mr. Schott? He says Mr. McDonald will have to fight Mr. Costello's proposed funding cuts to the ABC, rumoured to be around $100 million. When I left that place, its annual budget was $120 million. I don't know. They can always trim these. I mean, everyone's got to suffer. Now, you know, the public servants are going out because of cuts. I mean, the point is we've run out of money nationally, haven't we? Look at the... So everyone says, oh, you can take everyone else's job and what have you, but not I. Would you miss the ABC if it weren't there? Now that you can buy videotapes of most things, would you? Really? I mean, you know how much I watch the ABC a week? I watch Media Watch. It's 11 minutes, isn't it? And those dreary promos before with those people doing Lyciju. As a friend of mine says, a Lyciju. And dear Mr. Radcliffe, who's asleep at this stage, who I spoke to yesterday, explained to me how you actually produce the Lyciju. Now, a circle is when you've got two of them. Is it a circle is two? Is it the same phase? Or he went through it all. 45 degrees is a... Anyway, it's all to do with phasing. That's how you do it. You've worked with an oscilloscope, haven't you? You have, right. I produced a square wave, an absolute square on the oscilloscope. Until the V-chip came in, and I can't do anything. Anything over 6 volt, it just says, sorry dear, V-chip's in this thing. Why don't we have a V-chip in everything? Wouldn't that be terrific? A filter for... or you could have an anti-V chip where only the rude bits come through. Like an inversion, like a difference between a bandpass and a filter, only the rude bits. And it rings, it calls you. You're in the other room, say, rude bits, and you rush in. You missed them, sorry. It's like having page numbers for the rude bits in books, isn't it? When I was a kid in 1958, when I started my career of not paying attention to school, La Donna di Roma was the book. That was the Woman of Rome, and all the kids knew where the rude pages were. Page 95, down the bottom there, and they said, it's not a bad bit to be at 110. You'd read that and say, not bad, is it? Some bad stuff. And it was a well-worn book. They used to hand it around, and Mad Magazine was a king then too. Mad Magazine's good. I like the whole collection, I think. Someone sent me a copy of a bloke has built a 57 class in 7 1/4 inch gauge. It's for sale. Now, I personally would either go for 15 inch gauge. I mean, that's a bloke my size needs a big loco. And my fantasy is when I get the Sultan of Brunei's money, which is happening any day, by the way. You will notice a slight change in my approach here, because I'll fire Singleton. That's to be the subtle change. My idea is to get a rural property and get a landscape garden and build a house in sandstone in the old style with the veranda all the way around, with a little loo with a tinier veranda all the way around, so it has a sense of humour. And I want I would bring out a British landscape gardener, have to be near a river to get the water, to make it a little bit of England. You know, with the poplars and the whole... So you've seen those lovely... Here you are. It's a good thing of television. SBS and ABC occasionally have these wonderful gardens and castles of the world. You know what I mean? I think you can actually create romance in the true sense. And I'd have a 15-inch gauge railway, which would go about 15 kilometres and up big steep inclines. And you would pop round and we'd have a picnic, right? And we'd take 2 locos right up there and park at the top spot there. Wouldn't it be lovely? Sitting there with the little thing blowing steam there and just the smell of it all and having a picnic. Wouldn't that be terrific? No kids, of course. Yeah, people say, oh, my kids want to ride on your train. Over my dead body, or more to the point, over their dead body. No children by request, thank you. That's part of my fantasy. Yeah, and I wouldn't do a current affairs show. I wouldn't, they'd say, Ray wants to talk to you. I'd say, now he wants to talk to me. It wasn't related to our last little experience when he threatened to punch me. Oh, mate, he's really sorry about it. I don't think I remember him saying he was sorry about that. Anyway, I bought Channel 9 and he's not working there anymore. Oh, sorry. Don't ring again. I'll put a V-chip on the phone. Another thing, eh? Hello, it's Auntie. It is your aunt. She can't get through. I like that. It's 15 to 6. What a cop-out is this V-chip. I might be talking to the inventor of that shortly. What a cop-out. I mean, why do people just use contraceptives? Then you have to worry about a V-chip. You can lie there together, you have more money, kids cost 175 grand each, right? You have to deal with, tons of poo in their early days, no noises, no, oh, your child's been run over, by a fat boy at school, you have to come to the school, the kid is going to go gay or whatever, or go onto drugs. You have none of that. You just have each other. Yeah, you thought there was a downside, didn't you? Hello, Kirsty. You should have seen Selkie yesterday. Couple of drinks. It's a good thing I'm a gentleman, and I am, aren't I? I'm a gentleman. Yes, absolutely, right. She was safe with me, but had it been someone else? And it was only just a Coke she drank. It's the placebo effect. You see, she just somehow felt liberated by it, you see. I think you might give her a few tips. You're a blonde, aren't you? Yes. Give her a few tips, eh? Sweet lady, though.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's 14 to 6. Where are we? We're in Sydney. And Premier Rob Porridge says legislation clearing the way for the controversial Century Zinc mine will be introduced to Parliament before the end of July. Could you imagine how they introduce it? Legislation, Parliament, how do you do? Pleased to meet you, like a cup of tea. But he said better Queensland might have to compensate the traditional owners of the area if God is the traditional owner, by the way. How do you compensate God? We don't own anything. What can you take when you go? Nothing. except a picture of Ray Martin. Isn't that lovely? The federal government's admitted there still needs to be more effort put into reducing Australia's rate of increasing greenhouse gas emissions. Environmental Minister Robert Hills, are alive with the sound of music, says the National Greenhouse Gas Inventory, or as our news will probably say, inventory. I bet you Rob Gooder says inventory. Inventory, highlights of which he released yesterday, show emissions increased by about 0.6% a year. 0.6%? Ho, ho, ho! 0.6! Ooh, 0.6! Not 30%, but 0.6. Oh, panic. 0.6% a year between 1990 and 1994. There was an annual growth rate of 3.1% between 1988 and 1990. There you go. Good morning. The only station that plays Tiny Tim. You know what I like. It is the ultimate traffic report.
I'm on the highway to hell. I'm on the highway to hell. I'm on the highway to hell.
Yes, it's Tidy Tim. I've spoken to him. Not doing a Darren here, of course. Oh, by the way, we have the Darren thing now. We're just being put together. When we play bits between 5 and 5:30, we play Darren. We have a little game here. Because, you know, most likely in the morning, you like to play games. If Darren ever mentions anything he's done in an interview or met something, we have this special sound. You see, so even with some promos now, when little bits they grab of your show, we'll simply say, oh, really? Right. But I did meet Tiny. Tim. He's, oh, Mr. Robertson, oh, yes. And he's very frank. He's very quiet. He's not of this earth. He's not of this earth at all. He's of another world. Well, good morning.
Clive Robertson, good morning to you.
Your quiz first, right?
Hit me.
Okay, question is, what sport was in... You know it's about cricket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What sport was invented in 1858 to keep cricketers fit during winter?
Aussie rules. Can we have a bit of highway to hell, Tiny Tim, underneath the sport? I think that's what the sports section needs.
Okay, all right.
I don't know whether I should do this at rap style or not. Canberra's Quentin Pongia has been suspended for 6 matches by the ARL judiciary for not head banging, but head butting. So Pongia won't play until a week before the semi-finals. He pleaded not guilty to headbutting Newcastle winger Keith Beecham. The judiciary, of course, disagreed. In other decisions, Sydney Tigers centre Mike Urine was suspended for 1 match for a high tackle against St George, and North Danny Williams also added for 1 match for a high tackle on Parramatta fullback Rod Maybon.
I think you're winning.
Referees coordinator Michael Stone has backed Paul McBlain's decision to penalise Brisbane prop Andrew G in the controversial Monday night football game, which resulted in a 12-10 loss to the Sydney City Roosters. He penalised Andrew G for an incorrect ring.
Keep going. Sorry.
Young Australian tennis hope Mark Philippoussis has made an early exit. He's been beaten in the first round of the Gstaad Open tournament in Switzerland. Felix Mantilla, little-known Spaniard, defeated Philippoussis 6-4, 7-6. Robert Allenby and Wayne Riley will lead the Australian Challenge at the Scottish Open Golf Championship, which starts tonight, our time. South African Ernie Els is the favourite at 10-1 with Colin Montgomery. Greg Norman, still the #1 golfer in the world, at the Under-16 Australian Rugby Union Championships in Perth. Western Australia drew 3-all with South Australia. Sydney beat Brisbane 13-5. Northern Territory beat Tasmania 44-blot. And New South Wales Country beat Queensland Country 23-5. And finally, the third cricket test between India and England has been drawn. England wins the series 1-0. Hit it, Tiny.
Remember, it was your idea, right? Lads, sorry, it's 14 and a half to 8. Yes, it's a new style of sports presentation. The Battle of the Bands with Andrew Moore. David Lord, a farmer from Thackeringah Station between Broken Hill and the South Australian border, which I will be when I ever get holidays in this place. On my bicycle there, you see me go by, probably I'll be booked, because if you go over 110, how many times they said, mate, the local constable said, mate, we have to put a limiter on your bike. Look, mate, you're embarrassing us. And one of our police cars couldn't catch up with you, mate. Could you slow it down? I said, but it's just a bicycle. I know, mate. I don't know how you do it. It's those legs. I said, you a leg man from way back? I don't wish to be involved with this, thank you, sir. Just slow down, otherwise you'll be in deep compost. He didn't say compost. He said something else. I said, thank you, constable. And please don't speak the way I do. I said, I'm sorry. Am I doing that? Yeah. It's 1 and a half to 8, so there you are. Lovely part of the world. If you've never been around Australia, go to Broken Hill. And just go for a walk out in the desert. It's just fabulous. It's terrific. No rabbits, just kangaroos that look at you and say, hello. They all look like Flipper. You know, Flipper, Flipper, Flipper the bush kangaroo. It's 7 past 8. Isn't it funny how with the Atlanta Olympics, when 2 million people are going to be there and what have you, and I got to tell you, take note of what's going to be like in Sydney. I mean, the number of sporting journalists alone, I think it was 40,000 at the last Olympics. 40,000 extra people in Sydney. 40,000 extra people wishing to get to Homebush. Could you imagine? There'd probably be one per taxi. 40,000 extra people. We're all prepared, you know. I'm not doing a hand round saying we'll all be ruined. I'm merely saying the euphoria of it all when Mr. Fay jumped up and down, we all thought, oh, yeah, jolly good. Well, you did, I didn't. I said, oh, we lost. We got the Olympics. Well, they've got problems in Atlanta, Georgia, apart from the security point, and what have the security aspect. They haven't seen the Australian team yet, and I say that advisedly. You know what Australians are like when they're overseas. Not the most cultured lot, are they? Officials are waiting at New York's Kennedy Airport for the Greek Olympic team, whose plane was diverted from Atlanta because of a rowdy behaviour by the athletes. I wonder what rowdy behaviour would be. Has anyone seen my trout? All right, how many people can we squeeze into the loo? A U.S. Olympic official says Delta Airlines executives diverted the flight after the pilot reported the athletes were misbehaving. I'm sure they were. Hi there. The athletes seem to be misbehaving. Can we do something about it? Certainly. Okay, Chuck. Yes, they're chucking. How'd you know? Hey. Anyway, so they got lots, as Bob Tyler spoke this morning, a lot of extra aeroplanes there. Yeah. You know, the sad thing about the Olympics is, this is the solution. This is the Robertson solution, right? You won't hear it anyone else because no one has my courage. I've just come across that conclusion. It used to be that the Olympics were an individual sport. We keep talking about countries, right? Now, that's wrong. We should have it as an individual. The individual wins it for the individual, okay? And we should also have it in Greece. I don't mean the condition, I mean the place. Because just think about it. If we all put in a bit of money and they actually make the best one back where it started, it means in the meantime all the athletes can train there and get used to the climatic conditions. There's no surprises. The place could be the best in the world. Every couple of years they could add a bit and make it spiffy and what have you, and make it work. Everyone would know you go to Greece for the Olympics. It wouldn't be all this waste of money because no one makes a profit. They would make a profit because they wouldn't have a new infrastructure every 4 years. Am I not right? Yes, I am. Will Darren argue with this? Probably. It's 8:09 now. Here is Marcus Lovett. Hello, Marcus.
Clive, those comments about Australians being rowdy overseas, I went to the Calgary Olympics and I showed those foreigners how to drink. Now, that's...
What, didn't they know? Marcus, you're the sort of person my mother warned me about.
Oh, it's not true. I was just joking.
I don't think you were joking, Marcus. I think you're just backing off. Well, you do, but you know, these lunatics with their guns. What do they want them for? What do people want guns for? Shoot rabbits? It's 8:11. By the way, if you shoot yourself in the foot, a lot of people actually shoot themselves while cleaning the gun. If they can't clean the gun, what chance are they going to have when they have to go out and are confronted by a Yeti in their front yard? Excuse me, dear, there's a Yeti in their front yard.
Oh, curse this gun. I shot myself with the last bullet. Oh, let him in. Is the V-chip working? We don't want to get him too excited.
Well, in a medical emergency, you should talk to people at Masonic Private Hospital. You say, excuse me, hello, is that Masonic Private Hospital? Yes. Sister says, I've just shot myself in the foot. Do you mean in a metaphorical sense, or actually with a gun? Oh, just a sec. No, it is bleeding. Oh, right. You want some treatment then, do you? Yeah, what should I do? Well, why don't you pop in and see us? Okay. There you are. That was an artist's impression of a typical conversation. A, he knew who to ring. B, he wasn't too bright because he's a shooter. Right. Bit of a dull person. Probably went to watch the rugby league on Monday night. And he had probably had a little magnet on his fridge which said, if you shoot yourself in the foot, brackets, or other organs, ring the Masonic Private Hospital. Probably from his mother. Probably his name was Andrew. Right, Andrew. Right. And it had written corner of Robert and Victoria Streets, Ashfield, with the phone number scratched there, which had faded a bit, so you had to look through the phone book. There you are, Masonic Private Hospital. If you're a gun owner, I suggest you actually put that on the fridge. Who knows, you might shoot an intruder by mistake. Might be the man with the lotto figures coming around saying you've won lotto. Oh, I'm sorry, I shot you. What was that? Thank you.
It is 5 a.m. and you are listening to Los Angeles. It is 5 a.m. and you are listening to Los Angeles.
Hello there. Why are people so
And the radio man says it is a beautiful night out there. And the radio man says rock and roll lives. And the radio man says it is a beautiful night out there in Los Angeles. You live in Los Angeles.
It's 5
and
a.m.
you're going to Reseda.
This is the radio man.
You're going to Reseda someday.
Put your hands
to
on the
die.
radio.
And the radio man laughs because the radio man loves a Model 2. Gone.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I just do that. It's just for me, really. Oh, were you listening, were you? I'm sorry. We got an outscran to play this tune. Thanks very much, thanks. We're a struggling theatrical group. We need support. You're rather nice. Can I see you after the show? This is the theme from Twister. Isn't that uplifting, isn't it? Isn't that terrific? Yeah. Why don't you bring in music like that for me? It's all your stuff is all that weird stuff. You know, the factory seconds bins at those shops. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Lohengrin, the prelude to Act 3 of the London Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Wagner, it says here. Really? We don't know who the conductor is. And used in Twister very effectively. What a great choice of music, isn't it? The swirling, the whole thing. I like that, I really do. Oh, the Twister's finished now, so they're kissing each other, are they? It's 23 and a half minutes to 6. Nice, isn't it? Good for the heart. Don't you love people, you talk about classic music, do you like classical music, what's that called? They say, oh, I like the more popular ones. You know, it's still wonderful, isn't it? Yes. It's like saying, do you like good food? Oh, only a bit. You say, why would you like good food all the time? Oh. I don't like the stuff you have to pay arts grants for. I like them to be competitive. Oh, hello. No. Mr. Howes also told gun lobbyists to realise that they're a minority and should accept the will of the majority. He probably, in common vernacular, would say, shut your face. Agreed? But that's the way it's phrased. Yesterday, he ended gun owners' hopes of a slight reprieve from the new firearm laws by announcing that he won't approve crimping. Now, you know what? You know why the crimping, Ian? Do you know why it is? Because to buy the whole gun back expensive, so it was a case of crimp and save. Thank you. Right. Darren will use that a number of times, as Mark Day would say. Yeah. Yes. You like that? Crimp and say. Has anyone else used that one? I thought it was quite nice. Yesterday, they say you can't crimp. Now, I suggested turning the barrel 180 degrees. So they line it up and they say, last thing I remembered, I was shooting the rabbit and I blew my head off. Yes, it did, you stupid little man. Here's an arts grant. Now go away. New South Wales Attorney General Jeff Shaw says the revised censorship guidelines should only ban truly obnoxious material. But that's so subjective, isn't it? I mean, what's obnoxious to me? Rugby league. See my point? You see, I find it offensive, and they bash each other up, and the commentators, not ours, of course, I find it obnoxious. You see my point? He says truly... Who says what's obnoxious is the problem? You see, of course, when I'm boss of this country, no rugby league. See, isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice? And we'll just leave all the old grandstands and weeds will grow up and little mice will go around. Oh, that'll be lovely. Be sort of... No, I don't like the SCG. I said fire to that. Well, they know have a barbecue on some commemoration or something. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I've never been there, actually. Where is it? The Wollongong, isn't it? Anyway, I shall return for another triumphant season about 25 past 6. He's not an arts grant man. He earns his way, doesn't he? And pays for arts grants. It seems rather repressive, doesn't it? Where's the SCG again? What? Yes, that's Sydney somewhere, isn't it? I don't know where it is. I've never... Where is it? Tell me. Tell me where it is, Ian. Where is it? No, I don't know. I'm being honest. Right hand up. I don't know where it is. Why would I know? Next to the showgrounds. What, at Homebush? Well, no wonder I haven't seen it if it's that new. A telephone hotline targeting Asian organised crime, at least they're organised, will be held today amid criticism from ethnic groups. Operation Jasmine 2 has been set up in the wake of spiralling violent crime in the Asian Australian community. What on earth is the Australian Asian community? But the Ethnic Communities Council of New South Wales says a hotline targeting Asian crime will stereotype Asians in the eyes of the community. Yes, there is that risk. Yeah, but you can't stop people. Actually, it's a small point, isn't it? But what price are we paying? If people are a bit sort of, you see, yeah, they might already be stereotyped. I mean, they're not like us. I'm just being honest. There's a human reaction. Have you ever seen a black sheep amongst the white sheep? The white sheep attack it. Now, this doesn't excuse it because we're adults. Gee, I'm on a run this morning. We should have tapes. We should have a CD of this program. There is a reaction. I mean, for example, be honest. If you open the door at 3 in the morning and a big black man stands at your front door, doesn't it frighten you? Right? A big white man can frighten you. A small white man, you say, go away, or you tread on him. We are affected by things before we think. But we have to think. We can't just go on the base reaction to something, the basic reaction to something. I'm just doing so well today. I'm just on a run. Look, I'm in awe of myself this morning. I'm just thinking, I'm possessed. I'm not in the Wilshire studio either. It is a point. Well, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, golly, everything's got to be perfect now. We have to have absolute answers and please everyone. It doesn't work that way. Gambling addicts reportedly using a credit card scam. Now, I don't know what it is a scam. This is ARP's term. I'm not sure. That allows them easy cash advances, eventually finding themselves thousands of dollars in debt. If it's a scam, they're doing it against themselves. I don't think you can do a scam against yourself, can you? It's a bit like a bank teller whizzing around the front of the bank and holding himself up. All right, give me all your money. Ooh, you're nice. You look like me. Oh, it is me. The first regional workshop on human rights. Gee, I hate that word, workshops. I mean, when I was an apprentice, I worked in a workshop. You know who started that? The mincy little theatrical brigade. We got a workshop on, on falling down. And they do that. They all pretend to fall down, and they talk on Sunday afternoon to those people, and they say, yes, falling down's not easy, You say, really? Absolutely. Perhaps I could drop a truck on you and we'll find out how well you fall down. Oh, thanks. Don't you like us? A Senate inquiry has heard how taxpayers could be shortchanged by $30 billion. You'd notice that, wouldn't you? Excuse me, I gave you a $50 billion note and you gave me $30 billion change, and it was only for an ice cream. No, you didn't? Yes, I'm sure I did, if you look on the till. Oh, sorry. I shortchanged you there. Here's another $2 billion back. They could be shortchanged by $30 billion if the federal government wins its battle to sell 1/3 of Telstra. Or if you're Irish, 1/3 of Telstra. That's right, we tried to sell 1/3 of Telstra. And we're talking about a big turd. Economics professor John Quiggin says privatisation is a bad deal for Australian taxpayers. It's bad. Make a note of that, Ian. Bad. The James Cook University academic says Telstra will be worth almost $55 billion by 2000. More than twice the government's estimate if profits grow at 3.5% a year. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. Golly, I don't know. Ask Mark Day. Yeah. Mr. Whitlam turns 80 today. Well, there you go. I've turned 80, and shut your face. I must tell you, when I was an apprentice all those years ago, for a while, a friend of mine was an obsessive fitter and turner. He made a V8 lawnmower. It was just,
a V8 lawnmower?
Yes. Little, and it didn't have a muffler. It went straight out into the atmosphere. It was wonderful. That's a lot of work. That's not easy to hand make. A fabricator, he did over a period of time, and he won, came top in the class for it. And it was this V8 lawnmower. My gosh.
And what did the neighbours say?
Oh, yeah, well, that's another, as I said.
Did it have dice hanging from the, fluffy dice hanging from the...
No, it wasn't that Western.
Oh, okay.
It was a bit purple. He was Italian. It was going through a purple stage. But it could mow anything, rocks, buildings, cars, It was just wonderful to see, and it sounded fabulous.
The mower that ate purse.
That's right. It was terrific.
What a film.
It was, yeah, good word. Hey, it's Friday.
We sort of made it. Kind of made it, I suppose. I suppose we made it. Oh, the whole weekend. What are we going to do?
How you feeling this morning? Good, eh? It's 5:07. Good morning. My name is Robertson, Robertson. Who do we appreciate? What's wrong with you? What are you looking at me like that for? Well, have you listened to it? What is the duration? What's the in cue, the out cue? This is called professionalism. And if you get it wrong, you're dead. That's the way we work here, isn't it? Oh, there's no way to pull, and there's no water in it. Doesn't matter, you're going in. Oh, boy. All right, a few quickies here. People ring up, they've got problems with their computers. I mean, who hasn't? I mean, the standard of software is just awful. I mean, if that were our health system, we'd all be sick or dying or both. I was going to say it's as bad as most people's marriages, actually. It's really... Anyway, the user, the person's ringing up, ring, 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 ring. I'm having a problem getting connected. The text is going to the normal modem troubleshooting, echoing ATI... comes back with 24.2, meaning 2,400 baud modem. I'm sorry, but this is telling me you have a 2,400 baud modem. We can't promise reliable connection with anything less below 9,600. The user said, I've already told you it's a 14.4 modem. And the text says, it's a very confused 14.4 modem. How helpful would that be? User, I just got a 28.8 modem, but I'm not getting any better speed. There's something wrong on your end, and I want to know when you're going to get it fixed. The text says, what type of computer do you have? I have a 386 SX16 with 4 megs of RAM, but the problem's not on my end, it's on yours. So when are you going to get it fixed? You've got a 386 with 4 megs of RAM. That's not big. I'm sorry this is for computer people, but computer people will understand this. User, I started my account with you a month ago. This is internet stuff. A month ago, and this month I got a bill from both you and CompuServe. The text is and I just found out whenever I start Netscape on any other program, it signs me onto CompuServe instead of you guys. The text says, did you read the section in the manual we sent you about logging in? The user says, I shouldn't have to read anything. It's your job to tell me of any possible problems I might have. That's simplistic, isn't it? All right. Tech tips. People ring up. You've got to actually feel very sorry for the people who have to answer in these companies. The Microsoft technical people, what have you. The tech tips. Little pearls of wisdom from other techs that may or may not make you better at support. This is for people who actually support. So imagine you're now not a consumer, you're a person who's dealing with software that doesn't work properly and people are ringing in, right? Tips. Never ask leading questions, right? This is a tip for the person who's working with the customer. Examples. Tech, do you have at least 8 megs of RAM? The user says, yes. Tech, 20 minutes later. Why didn't you tell me you only had 2 megs of RAM when I asked? The user says, what's RAM? This is 20 minutes later. Oh, I better say yes, otherwise he'll get really annoyed with me. The text says, what type of computer do you have? A 286, 386, 486 Pentium XT? The user says, XT. The text says, I'm sorry, our software will only run on a 386 or better. And the user says, your program gives this strange error message when I try to launch it on my Mac. The text says, first, let's restart without extensions. That usually clears it up. What do you mean by that? Oh, yeah. So it goes. Leave a tip. Quite funny stuff. I suppose it is mainly for computer people. It says, you know it's going to be a bad day when you have them exit out of Windows and they get a bad or missing command com error. That's true. You hear a donkey braying in the same room while you're getting their username. What does he mean? Tech, talking to a Mac user. When was the last time you rebuilt the desktop? The user says, did what? How long have you owned this computer? 4 years. Yeah. I don't think most people can cope with computers. There's so much you have to learn. In fact, the people that can cope with computers are people who like the idea of the struggle, you know? It's like people, not everyone goes in the Olympics and runs or does the hurdles, only those who like the idea. But Ian, as you well know, and of course you didn't live through Windows 3, I got to say, I will never have the respect for you unless one day you say, I've lived through Windows 3. And you're typing away in the middle of a document, suddenly it says, general protection fault. Now, it's a clever use of the word protection, like it's protecting you from something really bad, you know, like the beams of your house are going to fall in, or there's going to be a surge of 10 million volts up your line. You feel, I'm being protected by Bill Gates. General protection fault. No excuse, no anything, and the whole thing collapses. Meanwhile, of course, you haven't saved it. And so you reboot it and you go... You know how little kittens are? When they're eating their food and you touch them, they grab both of the both sides of the bowl and they go... They don't bother when they're older. They just think, oh, okay, fella, I'll eat later. And then you reboot and you go in the program again and it seems all right. And a little while later, just at the crucial time, just about think, I'll just save after this sentence. Click, 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 click. General protection faults. And you called Bill Gates. You suggest that his parents weren't married. I'm afraid that's the way it is. And that he has an unusual relationship with farmyard animals. You actually say that. Not in those terms, of course. So I don't know how people cope. So I think unless you really want a computer, I would actually say don't venture, because you spend a lot of time just making them work. And that applies to Macs as well, although they always say Macs work well. Yeah, right. Environmental groups are outraged. I'm absolutely outraged by the wood chip export expansion, while the timber industry says the government has been spooked out of going further by the green movement. So that's predictable, isn't it? The environmental groups, unshaved, inbreeding little group they are, breastfeeding, braless society. No visible means of support, either cerebrally or physically, are upset by anything that somehow upsets their little meagre minds, and the timber industry, who want to have jobs for their mob, are not happy. Are you surprised? No. In fact, I won't read any more. I think we've covered that. Re-guns. Fed up with the gun issue? I'm getting a bit that way, but we shouldn't. This is the trouble. We're becoming sort of a secondary victim, aren't we? Open defiance by Queensland, Western Australia. Oh, they've got Western Australia. Well done, AAP. Hey. Well done. Normally it's Western Australia. Very well done. Open defiance by Queensland, Western Australia and the Northern Territory on the crimping issue has threatened national uniform gun laws. The states are split over Prime Minister Howard's announcement on Wednesday that the Commonwealth won't support the modification of semi-automatic weapons. Northern Territory Chief Minister Shane Stone has voiced support for crimping, as has the Queensland Police Minister Russell Cooper and WA's acting Premier and National Party leader Hendy Cowan. How can anyone be called Hendy Cowan? Hendy Cowan. I suppose they call him Hen. Hi, Hen.